What is up, YouTube? It is Eleyon, TheGamer here. We're going to talk a little bit about Dragon's Dogma Online, as you saw from the title for us here. Of course, Dragon's Dogma, it's an RPG that was originally came out for the 360 and PS3 back in 2012, I think it was. Lots of people had things they didn't like about it, me included. But hey, all in all, it wasn't really a bad game. Of course, I have my gripes about it as well. I'm not going to get into that, but I did enjoy playing it. So, of course, when Capcom later came out with Dark Arisen, which a lot of people were confused. It's a DLC, it's the same game. It pretty much was just DLC. It added a small chunk of content, but mainly it was just giving everybody the DLC for the original game. Now, set for 2015 release, Dragon's Dogma Online, which is apparently a free-to-play MMO produced by Hiroyuki Kobayashi. Obviously, this is exciting for a lot of people. Let's go ahead and dig into this thing and talk about this, guys. So again, set for 2015 release. The story is pretty much you're an awakened in a new land called, I might butcher this, I think it's Listeria, and some super white dragon. To give you guys a pause for the white jokes first here, if you're going to do those, is weakened and making a bunch of arisen or awaken to help it or whatever. Now I'm pretty sure it's probably going to help you bring it back to strength or whatever for you. But like most online games, you have up to 4 people in your party. You can have 8 players in raids, and there can be up to 100 people in the town or whatever with you guys. They have a little quick matching feature to form up these groups, and they're even bringing back the pawns. So if you're one of those people that either can't find a party, or you just don't party, or hell, there's nobody even doing that area, like sometimes pretty much happens in MMOs, you can still find you a group to go with. So hopefully the pawns don't suck. They weren't bad in the original Dragon's Dogma, but I did find experiences where my mages, for example, just were running back and forth not casting, and then my one warrior in my group is like running, slashing at a golem's ankles and getting stomped out. So hopefully the AI is a little bit better. But it wasn't all that bad for us here. The combat seems pretty much the same. Hopefully they add in the ability to have secondary skills for weapons if you like similar to mages. So for example, if I'm going to compare it, I was an archer or a bowman ranger, but of course you have to have dagger skills or staff skills or whatever. So if I wanted to be pure bow and have just 6 bow skills, I didn't have that ability, which I thought would have been pretty cool for them to add into the game. The jobs that we currently know, guys, are fighter, hunter, which I'm gonna guess is the strider or assassin stuff, priest, and shield sage, which pretty much sound like the same thing. I don't know what the difference between priest and shield sage is. They sound pretty similar to me, but I'm gonna guess the priest is actually the mage, or maybe a healer, and the shield sage is, I don't know, but that's them. You actually be able to job change just like in the 2012 console version. You can apparently job change your pawns as well, so I don't know if that means we're actually going to be able to customize our pawns and then thus still use other people's pawns, but it looks like that's probably going to be the case as well. We have character customization, which actually has received a boost because it can apparently select more parts of the character to edit and whatnot for you here. But you know how these online games have to do, guys. Of course character customization has to be insanely deep and crazy. Which I'm probably guessing they have a better boob slider or something. Who knows? Crafting is, of course, in the game. Apparently, even pawns can craft as well. And apparently they can even work together to craft things, which makes it take less longer, so shortens up those crafting times with the pawns working together. So that's pretty cool. The game is open world, which of course can be expanded with patches that they'll be releasing in seasons. which will of course include things like raids, timed exclusive missions, which is like Christmas stuff, you know, in our plan, the usual goodies pretty much, guys, in that regard. So I mean, you know, just the typical updates for us here. Now, it's not known if this is just a Monster Hunter thingy. Like the trailer kind of shows us you fighting dragons, as you guys have seen here when we're having the discussion on it. So it's not sure if it's just going to be fighting like the big guys, like chimeras and ogres, or cyclops, griffins, you know, the dragons and such like that, or are the goblins and the harpies and those goddamn wolves and all that good stuff still going to appear? Are we still going to have you know, the escort missions where somebody wants to go to a healing fountain that's 90 miles away when we have one that's only 10 miles away? I don't know, you know. So how much of the original is this game bringing over, or is it just going to focus on its big battles and let you play with friends and kind of take some of that away? I'm going to imagine that you can at least still run into some goblins and small stuff because it's open world, but you know, how much of it did they take away? So that's pretty much what we know. And of course, hopefully they still have the awesome soundtrack. Please still have the awesome soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. But the big thing that we do know so far is that there is no plan for a Western release on this game, which obviously is a downer for a lot of people. But we'll see, guys. I mean, we know how Capcom is. Hopefully that gets changed around, because this is supposed to link into Dragon's Dogma and the Dark Arisen. So for us as the community that's played this game, for us not to get our hands on this online version, seems like we're missing out on the actual lore of the Dragon's Dogma series. So hopefully we do get this. But yeah, guys, in closing, I mean, it's pretty much DD Online is pretty much just like the original. In terms of combat, everything you can do for the most part, except with what we all wanted in it. Don't let me bring my friend's pawn, let me bring my damn friend. And that's pretty much what this is offering. As they were talking about, they had to do with DD Arisen because they wanted it all to fit on one disc, or whatever the shenanigans was for selling us that small chunk of DLC on a completely other disc. Maybe that's why they went online to do an MMO, so they can just release all their updates and we just download them or whatever. I mean, this is free to play. I don't know if the updates will be, most likely. But yeah, naturally, guys, thanks for chilling with me, YT, as usual. Comment below, subscribe. I'll chill with you guys later.